What is up, Janksters? We got a fun one today. We are going back to our roots, specifically the Insidious ones. We got Insidious Roots in here, and we are leveraging a lot of the Renew creatures from Tarkir Dragonstorm as ways to trigger Insidious Roots. Now, a lot of other Roots decks, including ones that I've played here on this channel, have been combo-centric, where when we do the thing, we kind of create a million plants and then fling one at the face or give haste or something to end the game on the spot. This deck is not necessarily trying to do that. The reality is, Insidious Roots creates so many stats on the field very quickly and incidentally, if you're supporting it correctly, that you can have kind of a mid-range game plan and simply outvalue your opponents if you're doing it right. So that's what we're going to try to do. And how are we triggering it? Well, we do have cards like Dredger's Insight as well as Molt Tender as ways to just get a couple of one-off triggers here. Ainok Wayfarer is going to help fill our graveyard and get us make sure we hit our land drops. But it also gives us a 2-drop creature. Now that's relevant because we have Sidisi, Regent of the Mire, a 2-drop that can reanimate other creatures kind of birthing pod style out of our graveyard. So you'll notice, looking at our deck list, we have a lot of 1-drops, 2-drops, 3-drops, and we even have some 4-drops in this deck, specifically to take advantage of Sidisi. Those cards that we have, Rot-Curse Rakshasa at 2 is an amazing way to punch through a lot of damage early and strip blockers late in the game with its renewability that also triggers Insidious Roots. This card is honestly MVP of this deck. It's incredibly powerful, and we can sacrifice it to Sidisi's ability if it's relevant or appropriate on the board state. If need be, we can. Ainok Wayfarer is absolutely the main Sidisi food to get our 3-drops. And what are our 3-drops, you ask? Well, thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Qarsi Revenant, one of the best Vampire Nighthawks that we have ever seen ever. I know there have been a number of Nighthawks in the discussion. For this deck, Qarsi Revenant just takes the cake. It's amazing. 3/3 for 3 flying, Death Touch, Lifelink, and we have the Renew, so for 3, we can give another creature flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. That other creature that we can give that to, maybe a Rot-Curse Rakshasa if we're feeling saucy, or a gigantic plant token that we've generated. And if you can create a 9-power or 10-power plant token that then all of a sudden has evasion and lifelink, you're probably going to win that game, right? And that's why we're not worrying about the combo. We'll get big enough if we're able to have roots down for 2 to 3 turns, and just get there anyway. And Qarsi Revenant is a great way to kind of break parity against more aggressive decks because of the lifelink. It also creates a flying Death Touch blocker that can deal with a lot of threats out there, and the Renew can just punch home the win in many cases. The 4-drop that we have here is the Lasyd Prowler, however the heck you pronounce that. 5/5 for 4. Honestly, that alone is decent. That's worth considering. But when it enters, we mill cards equal to the number of lands we control. So oftentimes we're milling 4 to 5 lands with this. No problem there. That's just good. We're going to get more Renew creatures into the bin and whatnot. And it's also a 4-drop that we can use for Sidisi to make sure that we're getting Sidisi value and getting Roots triggers if the only creature that we have down is a 3-drop. That's pretty darn good. Oh, we have another 3-drop, by the way, the Coati Scavenger. This allows us to, it's basically an Eternal Witness if we have 4 permanents in our graveyard, which this deck, if we're doing the Sidisi thing, that is going to be a very low bar to clear. It's not going to be that hard. So Coati Scavenger allows us to pull the Insidious Roots or Tyvar Jubilant Brawler out of our graveyard and get our engine online. Very powerful stuff. We really like the Coati Scavenger in this build. It's very nice. Then we also have Overlord of the Balemurk. If you want to fill your graveyard for 2 mana, you cannot do it better. It itself is also a creature, so if it leaves our graveyard for any reason, say we're feeding it to a Molt Tender once it's in the yard, or whatever the case may be, all of a sudden we're now getting additional Roots triggers. So this thing does everything we want. This is one of the best graveyard cards that they have printed in recent memory. If you're doing graveyard decks in Standard right now, seriously consider this thing. And it's also a 5/5 that you can only, in late games, it becomes a threat that your opponent has to answer, even though it was just an incidental 2-drop that you just used to mill a little bit. It's very, very stinking good. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Yeah. So that's the deck. Let's run this thing out, see what we can do with it. I think it's going to be decent. Also, I'm going to note the sideboard. I'm planning on playing best of 1 for the purposes of this video, just because it's quick. But as far as the sideboard is concerned, you'll notice that we have Haywire Mites. We have our 4th Haywire Mite. 3 in the main, by the way. Honestly, I'm almost tempted to put 4 in the main. In the current environment, it's very, very good. But we have that just so that we can load it up if we're going up against an enchantment-heavy deck, against pixies, or even against red. The Haywire Mite is surprisingly useful. Anoint with Affliction is also in here specifically for the red deck. Get that Heartfire Hero or Cacophony Scamp the heck out of here, and no, you cannot touch me on the way out. Tear Asunder is great against enchantment-heavy decks. You know, the more controlling decks or the Zur Overlord package, this thing wrecks them. It's great. We have Urborg Scavenger in the sideboard. That may look odd, you know, because this is oftentimes a build-around. But in this deck, we don't want to put in graveyard hate that does not progress our plan. And so my thought with Urborg Scavengers is if you're going against Oculus or a Reanimation deck, a deck where you would normally bring in a Ghost Vacuum or a Rest in Peace when you're in those colors, Urborg Scavengers gives you that while being itself a threat that can take advantage of the Qarsi Revenant. You know, you basically get the Qarsi Revenant Renew for free with this, and it can also trigger Roots. So the Scavengers, it gives us graveyard hate without sacrificing our synergies and our main game plan, which is the reason for it being in the sideboard. We also have Deep-Cavern Bat and Thought-Stalker Warlock. This is a 2-2 split. I gotta be honest, I'm not 100% sold on the 2-2 split between these two. However, we need hand hate that also does not disrupt our main game plan. And this is that. The reason that we need hand hate against the pixie lists, but also specifically against control. If we're going up against a control deck that has a ton of removal spells and ways to deal with our main engine, we need to have some way to interact. And normally interacting on the board isn't what we need to do in those matchups. We need to interact with the hand. And these gives us the opportunities to do that. Thought-Stalker Warlock, it's better when we're ahead and we're able to be damaging our opponent. We're able to attack in and then fire this. That way we get some selection. So if we're already ahead, the Thought-Stalker Warlock will make sure we stay ahead. Whereas the Deep-Cavern Bat is just good to get that temporary lockdown out of the opponent's hand before they have an opportunity to fire it and force them to kind of play off tempo a little bit. The Deep-Cavern Bat doesn't often permanently remove a threat because they are able to use other removal to get rid of the bat and then fire whatever that you put under it. But because you get the selection, you get to kind of put them in a suboptimal position. And if you're clever about it, it can be pretty darn good. In fact, it's funny. I am not a big fan of this card in general because of how popular it is, but also because it oftentimes doesn't quite do what you want it to do. So I'm a little bit torn on it. Meanwhile, I'm actually coming around to Thought-Stalker like quite a bit. I think this card is actually better than people realize, even if you're not in the Lizard deck. So you're going to see more of this even coming out of sideboards or in the main for me in the future, I think. I'm liking this. Then we also have the Harvester of Misery because against, early aggro decks like the Mouse decks, or if we find ourselves going up against a Convoke deck. If we run against the Jeskai Convoke deck or the new Corey Steel Cutter decks that are running around out there, being able to sweep the board, especially if we're able to ramp early with Tenders and Insidious Root tokens, then, being able to fire this, even if we lose a couple of things along the way, if we can wipe our opponent's board, it is more than worth it. And 2 mana, kill a thing, get a creature in the graveyard, also totally fine in matchups where that's going to line up well. So, let's run this thing out and let's get some games in, everybody. I see a Molt Tender on 1. A Surveil land for turn 2, into the Insidious Roots, into Tyvar Jubilant Brawler. This hand, and we're on the play. This hand has every single thing I want. I mean, without hyperbole, if I was trying to craft my perfect hand, like my perfect starting 7, it might look like this. Like, this is fantastic. All right. This start, Molt Tender on 1 into Surveil land on 2, is just great. I'm a big fan. Cool. They've got a Risen Reef. Oh, but we got oh, you know what? Yeah, I guess I'm not in a hurry. We can just do this. Establish the Roots. And I'm just going to go ahead and pass it. Because we're not going to have an untapped third land here. And the Molt Tender can even get its mill on, which, that's slick. This feels fantastic. Do you want to spend a Go for the Throat on a Molt Tender? You're welcome to if you want. I'm not going to stop you. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. Especially one that can already activate. I mean, I'm just going to get value either way. All right. Okay, let's go. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and throw the Mortuary. I'm going to slow roll this a little bit. I'm not going to run Tyvar out into 2 open mana in colors that are very keen on interacting. So here comes the Overlord. Now that we've milled a bunch of lands off, and we found almost nothing but lands, my goodness. All right, I'm just going to pull the Rot-Curse Rakshasa back. Yeah, 4 lands on the top. Whew, that's a bit much. I mean, I'd rather be looking at them than looking for them, I guess. We've had some trouble today trying to find enough lands, so it'd be weird to complain about it now. But I complain about everything. That is my favorite pastime. So, yeah. Collector's Vault. Okay. You can do a lot with that. I'm wondering if this is some kind of reenact a crime style deck. Mill another land. Great. Keep it moving, I guess. All right, I'm gonna play that out. I'm gonna fire Tivers. Shiver me Tivers. I'm then gonna go ahead and impend this Overlord, having not activated Tyvar yet. I want to get the mill going. Yeah, I guess. I gotta be honest, it's a little awkward to be in this position where we don't have any of our other 2-drops in the graveyard. So I was talking about how I got, like, our ideal starting 7. The dreams have kind of stopped since then. Our top 20 cards have been a little awkward. So we need to find a Sidisi. We need to be able to Tyvar it back. Yeah, Tear Mindbreaker. Oh, mill me. Mill me harder, daddy. Let's go. I want to get milled so bad you don't even know. Actually, no, you guys absolutely know. You understand completely. Yeah, we could have downticked Tyvar and, like, spun the wheel and hoped, but I didn't. I did not feel like that was a good idea. So let's hit Tendi here. Qarsi Revenant. Hello. You are looking fabulous, if I may say. All right. I would like to play the Coati Scavenger, if I may. And even if I may not deal with it, I'm going to. And the Coati Scavenger can grab us Dredger's Insight. It can grab us the Insidious Roots. We also had the Overlord of the Balemurk. That'd be a great opportunity to pull that back. But, you know, I really just want to establish a second root. I want to put down roots. That's what we're doing. All right, so at this moment, we have, I mean, about a third of our deck is 2-drops, right? So the chances of this whiffing are very, very low. I'm just going to fire it and hope for the... And we did. We managed to whiff. I am impressed. I'm impressed and confused. So I'm going to go ahead, I guess, and exile the Overlord of the Balemurk so I can get a couple triggers here. And we still have the Tyvar online. So I'm going to use those triggers to give the, to juice the Qarsi Revenant here. Doggone it. I guess I could have gone to combat first and attacked with this Rot-Curse Rakshasa, but I don't know. Okay, now this is, like, we've had very bad luck on this mill, right? Yeah, they're just going to bounce that plant. That's correct. That is unquestionably correct. So even with such a bad, you know, such bad luck on these mills, our board state is still insane. This is still a bug nuts board that we're working with here. So in those 34 cards, we have Sidisi, we have the Ainok Wayfarer, we have, well, I guess we found 2 of our Rakshasas, so that's good. And not to mention, we have the 3 other Molt Tenders and our 3 Haywire Mites. All of them are in the bottom 34. So if our opponent hits us with a Jace, or if they send that Tear Mindbreaker, they're going to supercharge us. And I think they realize that. You know, like, I got 33 cards. You better, like, if you're going to send that, you better freaking kill me. Otherwise, you're going to get wrecked. And honestly, right now, they're probably still going to get wrecked. And I'm managing to spin into more lands. That said, we did have that Ainok Wayfarer in the mix is intriguing. So I'm going to go ahead and just friggin' full send, except for the Molt Tender. I'm going to attack with absolutely everything except the Molt Tender, because the Molt Tender's ability to pull from the graveyard is very, very real. Now, I should probably eat the Tear Mindbreaker, but I want to get a freaking kill shot here. So I'm thinking I want to eat the Wayfarer. No, I'm going to eat the Mindbreaker. I'm going to deny their resources. Restless Cottage, you're beautiful. Thank you for doing what you do. Okay, so they're going to go digging. We've got 9, 12, 14. Or no, wait, actually way more. 14, 19, 22, 26. We have 26 damage locked and loaded. They have 4 mana. What do they do, I wonder? What you up to, opponent? They're going to go for the throat on the biggest plant. That tracks. Cool. That all resolves. Anything else? Another round of priority as stuff is resolving. Yeah, we still have plenty. And all of these plants are each going to get an additional +1/+1 off the Molt Tender. They're going to throat the Rakshasa. That makes sense? I'm going to go ahead and exile this Wayfarer. So, like I was saying, our mills were pretty suboptimal here. This was nowhere near as powerful as this attack could have been if we spawned a little bit better, and we're still killing the game here. Like, look at this. GG's, opponent. Hey, if you're enjoying this, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Yeah. All right, we've got some mill dorks. We have the roots in hand. I think I keep this. I'm a little bit nervous, if I'm honest, because we don't have Tyvar. Sidisi's D's. I would like to start with a 1-drop in hand. We got the 4 Molt Tenders and the 3 Haywire Mites, but I mean, it's only 7 cards, so is what it is. Opponent on FOMO. Fear of Missing Out, very powerful 2-drop. All right. I think I'm going to establish the roots here. Now, they're on Jeskai. Fear of Missing Out, I tend to assume they're playing a more proactive strategy if they're playing that as their 2-drop. They're probably also running 4 Get Lost, because everybody's running 4 Get Lost right now, as they probably should. Steam Core Scholar, okay. Yeah, this looks like a Prophesidetic Memory, and they got the Oculus in the bin. All right, I see you, opponent. I see you, and I respect you, and I appreciate you, and I'm frightened of you a little bit, if I'm honest, but don't take that to your head, or don't let that go to your head. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play the Ainok Wayfarer. If they are able to get to Delirium, I could be in trouble here. Don't find a land, which is mildly problematic, but we do put a 1-drop and a 4-drop in the bin. That's not nothing. And we also now have the Descend for the Coati Scavenger. So we could use Coati Scavenger to pull back Overlord of the Balemurk, potentially. Like, that's not bad. Towards the tower, well, Wayfarer, you're gonna be missed. Finding a 3rd path, by the way, phenomenal. This card's real good, so well done, opponent. And we're gonna take 4 damage to our face holes here. Yeah. Ooh, ooh-wee. Ooh, I do like that. But I like this Insidious Roots. I really, really do. I don't love, what are my words? You know what? I'm going to throw the Wayfarer first and hopefully find a land. Preferably, if we can find an untapped one to establish the 2nd Roots, man, that'd be great. If I can get a 2nd Roots down and then Coati Scavenger next turn, whew, baby, that'd be fantastic. All right. Well, we found a land. It happens to be tapped, though. That is not ideal. That actually makes me tremendously sad. All right. Man, those Wayfarers have been saving my butt. Now, granted, I'm about to take a decent chunk of damage to the face, which I'm not super stoked on. But if it wasn't for the Wayfarer, we'd be in even worse shape, which, unfortunately, is saying a fair amount. All right. If we could top deck a Tyvar here, that would be dynamite. I'm also really jazzed our opponent hasn't found a helping hand yet, because that would be pretty damning if they found that. Yeah, because right here, they do have us. Like, admittedly, this is not good. We're not in a great spot. Qarsi Revenant, you're phenomenal. I'm very glad to see you. And I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that I can take advantage. Let's see. Let's go Scavenger style. And I'm thinking I'm going to grab up Tendi here because Molt Tender's a 1-drop. At this moment, I just need to establish some board state. Some blockers, ideally. Now, they do get an instant sorcery, and they did not find... Well, no, they have recommissioned. Never mind. That Oculus is 100% here, and I'm 100% boned, if I'm honest. This Qarsi Revenant is going to have to... Well, I'm going to go down to 2 here, in all likelihood. Because when they attack, the Steam Core Scholar is going to get 2 attack because they have the Delirium, unless this denies the Delirium, which I don't think it does. Because, yeah, they still have creatures. They still have instants. Yeah. Yeah. No. So if they swing with with FOMO... Oh, they got 2 of them? That's unnecessary. I mean, pretty slick and I'm jealous, but it is unnecessary. Make no mistake. Yeah, they 100% have it. That's way too many flyers. My Revenant is just spitting into the wind here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and block. Well, the Coati Scavenger is actually going to go ahead and block Kiora. That way she doesn't get a second swing. Not that it's going to be a significant difference here. You know, I'm going to have Tendi step in there. Because keeping the plant token has the chance to get big here. Maybe. It's not likely, though. Well, it'll probably just be tapped. So let's see. How good of a turn can we get here? You know, if this was a combo deck, if this was one of the combo builds, if we had Tyvar in here, drawing that might be able to pull something like crazy out of our backside, which would be ideal. But alas, it's not, and we can't. So, yep, you got it, opponent. I see 2 lands, a lot of amazing 2-drops, including 2 that will help us find our 3rd land, and we have the roots in hand. When you have Insidious Roots in the opening hand, you just gotta take it. I mean, well, not always, obviously, but in this case, I think this is a keeper. Because we're gonna have the roots right on 2, Ainok Wayfarer on 3, presumably gonna find a land for us. Or we can throw the Overlord or the Balemurk if we naturally draw our 3rd land. That way we can get a roots trigger like right away. So this all looks pretty darn good to me. We'll lead off with the Restless Cottage because, you know, we don't have a 1-drop anyway. If we had a Molt Tender, maybe I'd do things a little differently. Actually, if we had a Molt Tender, I would go Blooming Marsh on... Well, yeah, if we had a Molt Tender, I would want this to be a Survey land. That's a really clean opener for this deck, by the way, is the land Molt Tender, then Survey land, mill, and then activate the Molt Tender so that you now have 2 mana even after getting a tap land out of the way on 2. It's a pretty clean setup, but not one that we have here. In fact, I don't think our opponent's here because I'm filling... I've now filled well over a minute just looking at the mulligan screen. Feel that silence, baby. We've reached the point where I should edit this out, so I'm just going to take a sip of water. And yes, this is water. My coffee's not done brewing. Ah, there's the rope. There it is. We got it. We got the rope. All right. Hey, oh, they're back. They didn't realize they were holding priority. Excellent. All right, we are definitely going to keep this. We've got 2 lands, a lot of killer 2-drops, including the roots. All right, lead off with the Restless Cottage. And then next turn, we got the roots down, we got the Wayfarer, and we even have Sidisi in the mix. So actually, ooh, and they have open blue. Okay, they've got blue open. So I'm actually going to go ahead and attempt to play the Ainok Wayfarer here. I don't want to run the Insidious Roots into a counterspell. I will not do that. I refuse. There's a very good chance that that they have it. Now, the cool thing about the Ainok Wayfarer here is shooting this with a kill spell is a really bad move. Like, you don't want to spend premium removal on an ETB bear. And that's all. Well, I know it's a dog, but you know what I'm saying. And there we go. Anoint with Affliction is going to be hitting that. That's an Anoint with Affliction that is not hitting our Sidisi. I'm fine with that. Like, that is totally cool. Unholy Annex. Okay, now, again, I also noticed that we have a Haywire Mite in the bin. All right. We didn't end up hitting a land, so I'm going to throw this this Wayfarer, and hopefully this one will actually find a land for us. It did. Thank goodness. We had to dig... What is that? 6 cards deep to find our 3rd land, but we did. Now, the deck is only running 20 lands. That's not, like, crazy, but it was scary for a second there. All right. So, what do we got? We do have a Tyvar Jubilant Brawler. We have a Haywire Mite in the bin that can deal with the Unholy Annex. So, Dimir Demons is what it looks like over here. It's been a minute since I've seen good old Dimir Demons. I say good old. I mean... It's one of those decks that, all right, Spyglass Siren. Interesting. And they're immediately going to crack it. Ah, they're also digging, I see. Preacher of the Schism. Oh, man, just a good old Dimir midrange. Sick. I actually am kind of okay with this. This is an intriguing scenario for us to find ourselves in. Now, not having another land here is a bit of a bummer. But we have double roots, so I'm just going to put this roots down right here. If we can get roots and Tyvar moving and or grooving, we could be in a very good position. So, yeah, also against Dimir, the roots is probably going to stick here. The chances of them actually removing that now that it's on the battlefield, I mean, there's Feed the Swarm and Withering Torment, which I would be surprised if a best of 1 Dimir build is running either of those. It's not crazy. I've definitely seen people do it, and I've definitely done it myself, so I can't blame anybody who does, but I would still be surprised. All right. And they're just going to friggin' crack the big demon. Fair enough. Treat yourself, dog. Well, no, you're the dog. You know what I'm saying. All right. So, Coati Scavenger here is Dees. It's Dees and Neats. And Neats and Dees. Neats and Deets? I have no idea what I'm saying. Don't mind me. All right, we're going to go ahead and downtick Tivers and fully accept that this Tyvar is going to just get wrecked beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, oh, hold up, wait a minute. So Sidisi can come on down, and I'm going to go ahead and sack this Wayfarer. We're going to get another dude, and this Coati Scavenger is going to pull back. I can pull back a land, or we could pull back... I think I want to pull back an Overlord, because that'll trigger the roots and give us another plant token, which I think is nice. I like that. I like that idea a lot. So now, let's fire the Overlord. We're going to mill a bunch, and we get to grab a dude back. Hey, a Qarsi Revenant. That's neat. I like that. And this is going to pull back a Haywire Mite, because we can. I think I'm then going to... I don't have a Lasyd Prowler in there, which is a bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. If we had that, we'd be able to sack the Coati Scavenger to go grab it, which would be pretty dope. As it stands, I'm just going to hit the Overlord again. Frickin' spin it to win it. Let's go, baby. And this is going to pull a Tivers back to my hand, and we are currently tapped out. However, now that we have the Tyvar in hand, I'm not that worried about this Tyvar dying. We can take 8 to the face and 2 more off the Unholy Annex. That does hurt. If they have a Bloodletter of Akhlazats, I'm just dead. But that is often the case, so I didn't play around it. Was that a mistake? Maybe. We'll find out. Alright, so they're going to send 2 damage at Tivers. Yep. Do what needs doing. I get it. I get it. They kept their 6/6 back. That's a choice. Okay. I mean, I am about to murder them, but I also have the Rot-Curse Rakshasa in the bin, so that thing's not going to be able to block anyway. They don't seem to realize that. Oh, I have to sacrifice a non-token creature. Yeah. Actually, sacking Sidisi would have been fine, because Tyvar could just pull her back. Yeah, actually, that probably would have been the better choice. But that 100% would have been the better choice. Doggone it. Oh, well. Now, if they anoint Sidisi, I'm going to be big sage. All right. Hey, a land. Lands are great. Big fan. Well, I'm going to rock a second Roots. We've had 1 Roots, yes. But what about second Roots? All right.
Let's pound these metal monstrosities into dust.
Do we have any 1-drops in there? Yeah, we do. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and sack that tapped plant to go grab the Haywire Mite, which is going to trigger both Roots, and now we're going to friggin' supercharge this thing and get saucy and stanky and nasty. You're going to blot out... No! Exiling Tyvar actually is phenomenal for them. That was a tremendous play, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Yeah. That was like 100% exactly what they needed to do, and they were right. Dug on it. Okay. Well, Doggily Gonnets. Well, Doggily? I don't know. That's not a thing. I'm just going to go ahead and lift off this plant and just accrue value. They cut off my ability to really, like, storm off this turn. That was a great play, by the way. Very clean. And blot out, underrated piece removal. Can't deny it. But now, my biggest untapped plant token is a 4/5 flying lifelink Death Toucher, which, against their situation right here, looks pretty good. And we still have the Qarsi Revenant in there, so any blockers that they leave back, I can still strip of their abilities. So, it's unfortunate that I didn't get particularly good value out of that Tyvar, but clean play, opponent. Well done. Preacher of the Schism coming on down. Very nice. So, they're going for value on the board, which, you know, and no attacks. Yeah! I do love it when my Dimir Demon opponent is not the beatdown. That's a great feeling. Doggone, it's a great feeling. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tap DS1. And I'm going to go blam, blam, blam. Real quick, no big deal. I would like to decay all your dudes, if I may. That seems like a good idea to me. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am in this case. I'm also going to go ahead and gain a little bit of life. Go ahead and tag that. Now, that might look silly, but it puts a Haywire Mite back into our bin. And it gains me 2 life, which is, like, fine, I guess. Because now, I can sacrifice my tiniest plant to reanimate said Haywire Mite and go for maybe a little bit of overkill. Honestly, though, I'm assuming that they're going to have some kind of removal. So trying to get to a point where we have lethal regardless, I think is reasonable. I don't think this is a bad idea. Friggin' full send. Oh, you got Urtai. Urtai's not bad. It's gonna be able to remove the largest one and block another one. I think we still got it though. Because yeah, they'll block the 11, and this is 25 if my math serves. Because all of these are decaying, they can't block. GG's opponent. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I gotta say, I was pretty jazzed about this one. Golgari Roots, it just feels good. It feels like a solid mid-range deck that I think a lot of people are sleeping on right now, and it's got the potential to be a real contender in this meta. So if you're looking for something that is not Pixie and not Beanstalk that you want to use to climb the ladder, I genuinely think this thing can do it. That said, you'll notice I was in Platinum for those games. That's actually because I just haven't spent a lot of time on the ladder at all this month. But I gotta say, this deck is giving me kind of the thought that maybe I should, because I think it'd be a lot of fun. And if you want to see that experience as well as other deck builds and other experimentation, the best place to do that is actually over on my Twitch stream. I stream Monday through Friday in the mornings. If you're in the Western Hemisphere. I'm in the United States, and Eastern Standard Time around 8:30 a.m. is when I get started. So I would love to see you over there. We're having all kinds of fun, and I'm going to be playing more of this deck as well as other brews. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it very, very much. I also want to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to the patrons that have helped just donate and keep the lights on. Thank you. It means a lot. Angry Jellyfish, Davey, Hal, Carl, Levi Grattan, Big Mamu, and Vance. Thank you. You're the real ones. I appreciate you. And if you, dear viewer, would like to get your name on this list as well, you can do so over on Patreon, patreon.com/hamhocks42. For as little as $1 a month, I will give you a shout out here and get you on the list. So it would mean a lot. You'll notice we have room. You're welcome to join us. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I'll catch you on the next one.